Welcome to Deck Analysis and Testing. Today we have a look at SUBTERROR. SUBTERROR is a deck that has been in the game for quite some time already. Old players would remember the garbage skill Masked Tribute that suddenly became a top tier meta threat because it gave you a free monster for SUBTERROR Nemesis Warrior to send. This interaction was so strong that Konami had to nerf the skill to stop you from summoning anything else until the end of your opponent's turn. And since then, the deck kind of disappeared for the next few years, and nobody really played the deck because it just doesn't do a whole lot. And the best trap card, SUBTERROR Final Battle, wasn't even searchable. Well, until now. Not only are the old SUBTERROR cards available in the box chips, which is wonderful news for the free-to-play version of the deck, the recent box also gave us good SUBTERROR cards which fixed the biggest issue of the deck, which is its horrible consistency. Guru and Hidden City are great searchers that also have other effects that help you extend or interrupt your opponent, and the skill turns Nemesis Warrior into a starter as well. Now the deck stands as a pretty good control deck that's excellent going first and still not bad going second because of the bonus going second effects that the skill gives you. Let's have a look at the cards. First is the only SUBTERROR Behemoth monster we are playing, which is the best one. This card can banish a monster on the field when it is flipped, and it can banish face down as well, so that is a very good effect to use even if you book your opponent's monster with your traps or with your Guru. It can also special summon itself if it's in your hand if you have no face-up monsters and your monster is flipped face down, which will happen very often. If you go first, you can search this card and then flip your guy's face down, and then this will summon itself and flip itself face down as well using its own effect. We have one copy of the level 5 Pendulum because we don't really need the extra deck, so we could just play one copy of this card as a consistency boost. We can just draw a card for free. We have two copies of SUBTERROR Guru, which is by far the best SUBTERROR card ever. This card is known for the Guru control deck in the TCG, and it's very strong. When it's flipped, you get to search any SUBTERROR card from your deck to your hand, and also it has a quick effect if you control another SUBTERROR card to flip itself and another face-up monster on the field, both to face-down defense position. So this is a way you can disrupt your opponent, or you can just use it to flip your own monsters face down for monsters that don't have an effect that flip themselves face down. We have two copies of SUBTERROR Fiendus. This is a negate. It can send itself from your hand or field to the graveyard while you control another SUBTERROR card to negate any activation of your opponent. And it doesn't destroy the card, but it negates the activation. And also it has a reborn effect to flip a monster you control face down. You can flip itself if you want to summon a SUBTERROR monster from your hand or graveyard. This is your main way to grab back your big SUBTERRORs or the Guru if it ever gets sent to the graveyard. We have 3 copies of SUBTERROR Nemesis Warrior. This card is a starter because of your skill, because it's level 4. This card can, as a quick effect, send itself and another monster you control to the graveyard to summon any SUBTERROR monster from your deck. And historically, this has been a really good starter with skills like a Masked Tribute or Labyrinth Builder, because you can just send those 3 monsters along with itself to the graveyard and summon any big SUBTERROR from your deck. But now it's still good, but no longer the best starter of our deck. It can also special summon itself from the graveyard whenever you flip a SUBTERROR Behemoth monster. So you just get 3 guys on your field. For the spells, we're playing 1 Terraforming to search a copy of Hidden City. This card, when activated, can add a SUBTERROR monster from your deck to your hand. And you can also, once per turn, flip open a face-down SUBTERROR monster you control. Once per turn, when your opponent declares an attack, you can flip open a face-down SUBTERROR monster to negate the attack. This is really good both as a way you can search your monsters and also as a way to block attacks. It comes up very often, and your opponent is very heavily incentivized to try to get rid of it, which will not be that easy because of the negate effect of the Fiendess. For the traps, we have 2 copies of Needle Sealing, which we will not be playing in the expensive version, even though it's a very good card, because it is unfortunately limited to 3 alongside the copy of Hidden City. And I think it's just better to play more copies of Hidden City because of the interactions with the skill, which I'll talk about later. But Needle Sealing is very good for decks like SUBTERROR that have a lot of face-down monsters because it blows up only face-up monsters. So oftentimes during your first turn, you'll have like 2 or 3 set monsters, and then when your opponent tries to set up their board, you can just blow everything up with your copy of Needle Sealing. We have 3 copies of SUBTERROR Final Battle, which is just a wonderful, wonderful trap card. This trap card has 4 effects, which you can choose from, and also it doesn't send itself to the graveyard after you activate it, instead it sets itself back to your field face down, kind of like Scrap Iron Scarecrow, but you can only use the card once per turn because you can't use the trap card that it is set during the turn it's set. But it is not harder once per turn, so if you have multiple copies of Final Battles, you can use each one of them once per turn, which is really good and will come up a lot. The 4 effects include change 1 set SUBTERROR to face-up attack or face-up defense. You can flip down a face-up SUBTERROR monster. You can increase the attack and defense of a SUBTERROR monster you control by the combined attack and defense, which is really good at closing out games, or if your opponent tries to beat over one of your SUBTERRORs. And also has a 4th effect of not letting your opponent negate any activated effects of SUBTERROR cards. And importantly, that says activated effects and not activations. And that sounds a bit confusing, but that just means that your opponent can negate effects, but not activations. So, for example, SUBTERROR Fiendess says it negates the activation. So, SUBTERROR Final Battle will not prevent the negation of an activation. So, if your opponent has a Fiendess, you can still negate your stuff. But for effects that said activated effects to negate, this card can prevent. So it's not as good as it might seem, but it's still useful sometimes. And we have also 2 copies of Horror House and 2 copies of Throw Train, as you know, the usual free-to-play staple traps that we play in pretty much every single deck. For the skill has 1 effect, which has a bonus part if your opponent controls a monster. So you can reveal a level 4 SUBTERROR monster in your hand, which currently we only have Guru and Nemesis Warrior as valid targets. You can set a Hidden City or a Final Battle from your hand or deck, and you can activate the trap during the turn it's set. And if you set it from your hand, you also draw a card. Then, if your opponent controls a monster, you can play a level 5 or higher SUBTERROR monster from your hand or deck in face down, and you can change its battle position. So, the thing about the skill is that it's more annoying than it might seem on the surface, because the effect where you set a high level SUBTERROR monster can only be used if you set from your hand. So if you set the Hidden City or Final Battle from your deck, you don't get to use the bonus summoning effect of the skill, even if your opponent has a monster. That's annoying. I found that out the hard way. But if you need to go second and summon a guy from your deck, you must set from your hand. That's why in the expensive version we're playing 3 copies of Hidden City, because the skill needs you to set from hand in order to summon from deck. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the free-to-play version. Let's have a look at the expensive one. In this expensive version, because we don't really need to use the extra deck, we have it as Dogmatica Punishment Targets, and this card is really, really good, and even better now that it's no longer limited to 3. We are playing 5-headed dragon as the big attack target. We have Entis, Fossil Warrior Skull Knight and Fossil Warrior Skull Wagon as targets for us to send with Dark Punishment. And this card trades really well with your opponent's stuff. If you send an Entis, for example, you pop 2, it's like Treacherous Trap Hole, but better. And for like the other cards in our deck, we're playing obviously 3 copies of Guru and 3 copies of Fiendess because these cards are really good. We're only playing 1 copy of Nemesis Warrior because it's not really that good. We only play 3 copies in the free-to-play version because it's level 4. But in this version, we have more copies of Guru and more copies of Hidden City, so we don't really need to play more copies of Nemesis Warrior. We're still playing 1 Terraforming and 3 Hidden Cities because, as I said, the skill really needs you to set from hand in order to get the bonus going second effect. And for the rest of the cards, we're playing Book of Moon and Punishment, and still playing 3 copies of Final Battle because this card is just insane. For the rest of the extra deck, we're just playing random Xyz and Link monsters that we'll pretty much never use because the deck is good enough without using the extra deck at all. So with that said, let's have a look at some games. Okay, so game 1 we were playing against Predaplant going first, and that's wonderful news because Predaplant is known for not having a lot of good ways to deal with back row specifically, and we are a back row deck, so let's see what we can do. We open with the Pendulum guy, so that's a free draw, and we draw into probably the best thing we can draw into because otherwise we can't really do anything with the 2 Fienders in our hand. We're gonna activate the field spell, grab a Guru, and now that we have a valid target, we can activate our skill to set a final battle, which we can use this turn. We're gonna go Fiendess to summon the Guru from hand, flip open with the field spell, grab another final battle. We could grab the level 7 guy, but I think having 2 final battles is just good in the grind game against a deck like Predaplant, which has a hard time getting rid of back row in general. I leave this guy face up, which could be a bad thing because, you know, they can just tribute over it with the Kaiju thing and we can't really respond to it. But I think it's fine because we have a way to revive it anyway, and I don't think they can really play through the needle ceiling that we have set in our back row. So we're just gonna let our opponent play for a while. We're just waiting for the best opportunity to flip open the needle ceiling to blow everything up. Our opponent is going to try to summon some more guys, including a copy of the Squid, which doesn't really do too much. Another thing about Predaplant is that they really need to place counters on our guys to do anything good, so we can just flip our guys face down and they can't really put counters on our guy. And we can negate the Fusion Search and then just blow everything up. They can try to attack, but we can just negate the attack with Hidden City. And now, during our turn, we can just set back the Guru, and then flip open the Guru to grab the level 7. We can flip down the Guru and our opponent's guy, we can summon the level 7, and then flip itself face down, and then we can use the final battle to banish our opponent's monster. We can attack. They will use the hand trap, and I try to negate it, but you probably shouldn't do that because the negate only works by flipping down your own monster, so, you know, they can just activate it again. So, yeah, that's a bit of a misplay. I shouldn't have used the effect of the Fiendess, because now, during our opponent's turn, we have 1 less Fiendess that we can use. But it should be fine. Our opponent uses probably the only way they can get rid of back row, which is the Nightmare Phoenix. They can pop 1 of our final battles, but that should be fine. We can just chain it in response, and we can banish our opponent's monster. And because we already have a second final battle, we can just, you know, use the second one. We can flip open the Guru to search, and we can grab a second copy of a third copy of Final Battle. If we play a third copy of Fiendess like in the expensive version, we can grab it, but we don't, so that's it. But we should be winning the game in this position. They can try to reduce the attack, but Final Battle makes the attack equal to the combined original attack and defense, so even if he chains the Hydra, it still goes to 47 regardless, and we'll win, I guess. Okay, game 2 we're going second, and it's gonna be a lot shorter than the first game. This deck isn't too good going second, but as you can see we did draw the Hidden City, so we could get the free summon from the deck. The terraforming in hand is not ideal, but, you know, our opponent doesn't draw particularly well anyway. It's dragon made. We can set the hidden city from the hand, draw a free card from the skill, and then set the behemoth. We can try to banish our opponent's guy, we can try to bounce our guy, we can negate the trap, and then after everything resolves, we can banish the thing, we can flip open the hidden city, grab the guru, set the guru, flip open the guru, and well, that's how we play going second. And finally, we have the expensive version. We're playing against Maya Kashi, and we are going first. And we drew pretty well. I mean, that's pretty much as good as you could hope for. A level 4 Hidden City, Dogmatica Punishment. It's a pretty good opener. We can go and summon the Fiendess, flip face down. And another note you want to keep in mind is usually if you have both Fiendess and Guru, you want to normal summon the Fiendess and not the Guru, because you can set the Fiendess face down to summon the Guru from your hand. We have a full board of monsters, and that's a lot of interruptions. We have the Guru flip face down, we have the Behemoth to banish, we have free traps. We didn't negate the 1-for-1 because I feel like that's a pretty good trade with the Fiendess. We're gonna banish his normal summon, and yeah, they can't really play for it. And yeah, that's the thing of like older skills that is made before Borolo the Link, is that they don't really have a good way to go second, unlike the skills that are made like today, where they always have a bonus effect when they go second. But yeah, we'll walk with it.